What if I told you that on this very day, 17th February, emperors fell, dictators were challenged, and Africa once again reminded the world that its people will never remain silent? February 17th is not an ordinary date in African story or African history. It is a day marked by power shifts, resistance, movements, and bold political turning points that reshaped nations. In 1975, the world quietly absorbed shocking news from Ethiopia. The body of Haile Selassie, the last emperor of Ethiopia, was officially discovered months after he had been deposed by the Derg military regime. Selassie had once stood before the League of Nations warning about fascism, resisting the invasion ordered by Benito Mussolini, and becoming a global symbol of African sovereignty. His fall marked the end of a century-old monarchy and the full rise of revolutionary rule in Ethiopia. An era closed, a new uncertain one began. Decades later, on February 17, 2011, North Africa erupted. Protests broke out in Libya against the 42-year rule of Muammar Gaddafi. What began as demonstration quickly escalated into armed conflict. The day began known as the Day of Rage, a pivotal moment in the Arab Spring spread across the continent. It signaled that even the longest-standing regime could be challenged by voices of ordinary citizens. February 17 also echoed in the long struggle against apartheid in South Africa. During the 1980s, international pressure intensified around this period, strengthening sanctions and isolating the apartheid government. The resistance movement associated with leaders like Nelson Mandela was gaining unstoppable global support. The walls of segregation were beginning to crack under economic and diplomatic weight. The system that once seemed immovable was slowly being cornered. In 2008, violence erupted in Kosovo following its declaration of independence, a moment closely watched across Africa. Several African nations studied the implications for sovereignty, separatism, and international recognition, issues deeply relevant to post-colonial African border and unity. February 17 became a global reminder that questions of statehood and identity were not confined to one continent. On this same day, in 1996, chess history was made when Garry Kasparov was defeated in a game by IBM's Deep Blue. While North African, the event symbolized technological shift that would deeply affect African economy and youth innovation in the decade that followed. It marked the dawn of a digital era that Africa would increasingly step into with confidence. Across different years, February 17 has repeatedly stood at the intersection of leadership, protest, reform, and transformation. From imperial collapse in Ethiopia to uprising in Libya, from apartheid resistance in South Africa to global political shift influencing African diplomacy. The pattern is clear. Change is never far away. History on this day tells one powerful story. Power is never permanent. Empires fail, regimes are challenged, systems fall, and people rise. February 17 reminds us that Africa's story is not passive. It is active, it is courageous, it is constantly unfolding. And somewhere on this very date, once again, history is being written.